listening to Sarah Talk. It's political.
If you want a country where you have to salute the flag, North Korea sounds like a lovely fucking place. I don't want to be in a place where honoring the flag is compulsory.
Critical.
Hang on, I'm gonna change some words here. All right, ready? Adults with religious confusion who truly believe in a higher power that created us and actually cares what we do with our penises and vaginas should be treated with care, compassion, and kindness, but must not be officially affirmed in their confusion, no matter how sincerely held. Fuck you.
And positively LGBT positive.
In many states, you can still be evicted from housing simply for being gay or transgender. Stand and fight with us.
Oh, and occasionally completely absurd.
I don't know if you've ever seen a lightning bug, but he flies around with a flame of light coming out of his behind. The lightning bug got a flame coming out of his butt.
It's a beautiful night tonight. All the sodomites are out.
And now, from Orlando, Florida, your host, Sarah Austin.
Do you realize how late it is?
Yes, I do.
It's only 8 o'clock.
I know. It's not late at all.
No, it's not, but we're so old.
Old ladies. Welcome to the Old Lady Bitch Hour.
Right? Oh, let me...
Ooh. What was that?
We're still jamming. Hey, listen, let me tell you how disappointed I was when I thought to myself, okay, we're going to do the show at night now. So I'm not going to drink coffee. I'll go have a rum and Coke instead.
And there's no Coke.
And there's no Coke.
You could just have rum. Nobody will judge you. Oh, jeez.
The light doesn't work. Oh, well. I mean, the light works, but it doesn't work on screen.
Doesn't work on screen.
Well, that's a little
okay.
disappointing.
Yeah.
So this is our first live show of the new year.
Happy New Year.
It feels weird not having done live shows the last 2 weeks, doesn't it?
It's like weird. We're having withdrawal.
So I want to start off with our lead story today, and that is the weather.
I took my glasses off, and I'm sitting here wondering why I can't see you.
You need help. Bear with us. It's late.
Oh.
Global warming must be a myth, right? Because it's colder than a snowman's nipple in sunny Central Florida. Climate change deniers are right.
Oh.
Right? Isn't that how it works? No, of course that's not how it works. In fact, changes to the global climate cause extreme changes to local weather patterns on either extreme. But that's not our story.
Then why do they call it global warming? I'm kidding.
I'm going to smack you.
Hey, Naomi. Yeah, we're trying.
But that's not our story. Here in Central Florida, when the temperatures drop below a certain point, this story grabs headlines on even a moderate news day. From the Washington Post. One of the strongest winter storms on the East Coast in modern history has pummeled cities with snow and sleet, forcing schools and businesses to close while grounding thousands of flights. You native Floridians have no experience with this, right? What is a snow day? They close the school, what? Well, in South Florida, it's raining iguanas. Kristen Summers of the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission tells the Post, when temperatures fall below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, green iguanas become sluggish. Under 40 degrees, their blood stops moving as much. You see, like most reptiles, green iguanas... wasn't that a team on that Nickelodeon game show? Oh, what was that show?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, Legends of the Hidden Temple. Oh my God, it was such a great game show.
That was way before my time.
Green iguanas are cold-blooded, so when it gets cold, they become immobile. Now, it's like been in the 30s overnight here in Central Florida. So you've got some iguanas living up in your trees where they like to hang out, and then it gets cold, and then they fall. Experts ask that you not move them. One anecdote from the Post's article is hilarious. Ron McGill of the Miami Zoo told WPLG in 2010 about a man who collected sleeping iguanas and threw them into the back of his station wagon. And then they woke up.
Because it was warm in the station wagon.
And they were pissed. And all of a sudden, these things are coming alive, crawling all over the place, all over his back, and almost caused a wreck.
Dumbass. They say if you really feel sorry for the iguana, you can drag it carefully into a sunny spot.
Right, but the article I read in the Post said don't even do that. Just leave it alone.
You're better to just leave it alone. Yeah.
Did you have iguana problems in your
No, it never got that cold.
place growing up? No?
Like, we had iguanas,
Right.
but we never had them falling out of the trees.
Oh, Florida. Hey, while we're on the topic, the best stories start with...
A Florida man.
A Florida man was charged with assaulting his girlfriend over who ate the last chocolate chip cookie.
Oh,
Did you see this one?
Yes, I did. Holy shit, people. Seriously?
Port St. Lucie police responded to the home on December 14th. Richard Anthony Hessick said he was upset when he discovered someone ate the last cookie and that his girlfriend wasn't taking him seriously. Apparently, the girlfriend joked about reviewing surveillance footage.
She sounds like my kind of girl.
Yeah, right?
I mean, just...
And then she offered to buy more.
Right.
Right? It's all good, man. Listen,
give me some cookies.
look, I'll just go buy some more, okay? Is that all right? Can I just go buy some more cookies? Anyway, then she went to take a shower, and he followed her into the bathroom, ripped down the shower curtain, and punched her on the left side of the face. Police say they did not see any swelling or bruising on the victim's face. Hessick was arrested and charged with battery.
I just want to say, this guy has obviously... somebody did him a disservice. Did he not have PBS? Did he not watch Sesame Street and learn the appropriate action when someone eats your last cookie?
Cookie!
I mean... I don't understand.
All right, now, we'll have a laugh at this because of how stupid it is. But, dude, you don't hate your girlfriend.
Right.
Like, ever.
Over a cookie, especially. That just makes you look like a total dirtbag. But, yeah.
Even if they were pot cookies.
Right.
Like, and maybe they were. We don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
But still, you don't put your girlfriend.
So stupid.
You're an asshole. Here's another one. Florida man called 911 on New Year's Eve to report himself drunk driving.
Oh, God.
The dispatcher said, "Where are you?" And Michael Lester responded, "I'm too drunk. I don't know where I'm at."
Oh, my God.
So the dispatcher asks, "What have you been doing all night?" And he said, I don't know. I was driving around, trying to get pulled over, actually.
What the
So they told him to pull over and wait for the police. And so he stops the car and parks it right in the middle of the road.
Oh, God.
Deputies said Lester admitted to drinking beers, but also taking methamphetamine and had barely slept for days.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
But hey, look, if you're that drunk, do yourself a favor, right? Here's a quarter. Call someone who cares. And if you ain't got anybody, call 911.
Oh.
Do the right thing, right? Get off the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I need a police officer to tell me that I shouldn't be doing it. So can you send one to me, please? The report that I saw on that one said he was cited for driving on the wrong side of the road as well.
Yeah, right.
So, you've got to be messed up.
Right.
But I guess it's New Year's.
Right.
Can
People
I
are being
rant about
stupid.
New Year's for a
Please,
minute?
we haven't talked about Christmas. We haven't talked about New Year's. We haven't talked about anything.
People, what's today's date?
It's the 6th already.
It's the 6th. And I just heard fireworks going off. Every single night this week, fireworks.
Says the person who still has Christmas lights outside on their house.
No, that's different.
I know, because it
That's
doesn't
not
affect
disrupting
your
people
neighbors.
who
I
are trying
get
to
it.
put their
I
kids
get
to
it.
sleep.
I get it.
Saying. Yeah. So enough with the fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
And just go buy some chocolate hearts or something and move on to the next
Jesus.
holiday.
That's almost the year.
I know. They set
crazy.
it up in Target already. I went in looking for Christmas clearance and Valentine's Day was there and Christmas was gone. And I was like, it's barely January. Settle down, Target. But here, have my money.
So how was New Year's? here because I was at work. It was not nearly as busy as at work as it has been in the past.
It wasn't loud. There wasn't like usually there's lots of people blowing off fireworks, but it seems like they've spread it out over 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
So
a minimum of 6 days.
Yeah, our son fell asleep around 12:30, but he didn't really care. He was like, whatever.
Yeah.
He was more interested in watching his YouTube videos. And yeah, it was very quiet here.
Mm.
That's all.
That's good. We had a good Christmas.
Christmas was excellent.
Christmas was good.
I forgot I was going to bring my Christmas present in here. And oh, it's Lisa. Hey, Lisa.
We've got Melissa on as well.
Cool.
You what Christmas present?
You got me a unicorn coffee mug. I was going to put hot cocoa in it because it's so cold.
Yeah.
And then I forgot, and I got water. And
Water's probably better.
yeah, water's better.
All right, the last story from the Florida Files. This one's actually kind of sad. So I'm going to laugh, but I'll feel guilty about it, I promise.
Oh, jeez. I love that.
A Florida woman was airlifted to hospital after being attacked by a neighborhood cat and ran over by her own car.
What?
A woman in West Cocoa had gotten into her vehicle, was about to back up when one of the neighborhood cats jumped in the car and either bit or scratched her in some manner or another. She became distracted, fell out of the vehicle, and then was actually struck by her own vehicle.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
How big was the cat?
I don't know.
I mean, cats can be pretty vicious, I guess, but holy crap.
Right.
How did the...
Hey, listen, cat owners, leash laws apply to you too.
Yeah.
Right? You don't just open the door and let your fucking cats out. That's not how it works.
Was it a pet cat or was it a feral cat?
I don't know.
Because there's a lot of those. Florida is notorious for wild
That's true. Could have been
cats that were not. They're not really wild.
Could have
They're
been
just
a panther.
cats that people want, and then they let them loose and
Yeah.
don't take care of them, and they become alley cats.
Right.
Sad kitty.
All right. The next story comes from the USA Today. Pulse gunman's wife says, "I knew he was going to Orlando to attack." Now, I shared this in our Facebook discussion group.
I didn't even look at it.
Everybody's furious.
I didn't even look at it. Just that was enough to make me angry. So go ahead, tell me the rest.
So let's go back in time a bit. June 12th, 2016, Omar Mateen goes to the Pulse nightclub and starts shooting, killing 49 and injuring many more, including people we know that were involved in this thing. This is close to home. Immediately after the incident, many people wondered if Noor Salman, Mateen's wife, knew of his plans. Publicly, for the most part, she denied foreknowledge. Right, so she was saying in her press statements, sort of that, look, I had no idea this was going to happen. But a 12-page handwritten statement to the FBI was released in December, along with a bunch of other documents. There was like a batch release of documents related to the case. Mm-hmm. And in that, she says that she did know this was going to happen and where. She was arrested last year on federal charges of providing material support to a terrorist, tampering with evidence, but has pled not guilty. She claims Mateen abused her, which probably, that she's suffering from PTSD, which I'm sure she is, and that she did not know his plans. Salman's attorneys have been fighting to have this written statement thrown out of court because they say, at the time, she was in custody, but had not been read Miranda rights or given the opportunity to speak with counsel. So prosecutors are arguing that she was not under arrest at the time and that statement was voluntary. So that'll be a component of the trial that comes out. So what does the statement tell us? It says that for roughly 2 years before the attack, Mateen was browsing jihad websites daily and frequently watched beheading and ISIS recruitment videos. He was angry about the treatment of Muslims in the Middle East and talked about retaliating against Americans. And that's common. The homegrown terrorists that you see, that's generally what the Islamic terrorists, that's generally the underpinnings, right? They see that our military is going in and fucking up foreign countries where their people are,
right,
and trying to impose our American will on the world, and it gets him angry. So she wrote that Mateen bought a rifle about 4 days before the attack. She saw it in the trunk of his car, and when she questioned him, he told her not to say anything to anybody, covered it up, and said it was for his job as a security guard. Days before the attack, he bought ammunition and went to the shooting range a lot, telling Salman it was for work. He spent a lot of money and made her a beneficiary on his accounts, quote, in case something happened. He started looking at places and making comments about attacking them, including Disney Springs, formerly Downtown Disney at the time, and City Place in Palm Beach. She describes driving slowly by several destinations, including Disney and Pulse. He asked Salman, when driving by Pulse, how upset are people going to be when it gets attacked? 2 days before the shooting, Salman saw Mateen looking at a website for the club, and he said, "This is my target." This is all from the statement, right? The night before the attack, he left the house and looked pumped up, she wrote, adding that he told her, "This is the one day." He had a handgun in a holster around his waist and put on a backpack that had ammunition inside, and Salman says she knew that this was the time that he was going to do something bad, but did nothing. Now, Salman is set to stand trial in March, and there's a lot of preliminary proceedings that are happening right now. One of them is this question of admission of this document into evidence. There are other details surfacing as well. Mateen may have been using an alias to have extramarital encounters, or extra whatever encounters. I'm not really sure how their relationship worked. That he spent nearly a year's salary on weapons and ammunition leading up to the shooting. But whether or not this statement will be allowed seems like a linchpin to me to determine her, her guilt, because, and two, before the statement, when FBI and law enforcement arrived on the scene and just started asking questions like, "Hey, we're just trying to figure out, your husband shot up a place, like we're just trying to figure out what happened. So we got some questions, if that's okay with you." So this is all voluntary. She's you're not under arrest. We're just trying to collect information, right? So at that time, I guess, she gave a ton of stories that didn't line up. Like there were a bunch of variations on the story that just each time she told the story, it was so different that it just didn't match up. And now there's this handwritten story. So which one's the real story? So I'm sure they're going to argue that anything she said in the hours immediately following the shooting were, influenced by stress and emotion. But U.S. Judge Paul Byron ruled in favor of the defense to allow a psychologist who is an expert on false and coerced confessions to testify as well. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say, he or she, I think. I had the name, but I didn't write it down. It'll be interesting to see what that sort of expert witness comes up with as far as, which one of these stories was she bullshitting? Because it sure seems to me like she knew. Yeah. Like, I don't know how you read that statement. Like, if you're going to make shit up, you're going to make the I don't know shit up. Right. You're not going to make all these fucking details about, I saw him browsing jihad. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how she could have not known and written something like that. Yeah. And the fact that she didn't alert anybody is the worst of it all. And it makes me sick, because how do you sit there in your house knowing? Right? I don't know how she could live with herself. Hey, Tara. Welcome to the live stream. All right, let's move on, because that just makes me angry. Yeah, thanks. The next story comes from Pink News. Proving that being trans in public isn't decidedly an American issue, complaints have been made over the Hampstead Heath Women's Only Pool, as the City of London Corporation has announced it will be open to trans women. The spokesperson for the City of London said that all lifeguards and managers have taken transgender awareness training and that they are working with the LGBTQ community to make sure their facilities are serving the needs of everyone who enjoys them. Now, there are a couple quotes from this article that I want to share, but first, is there a need for gender-specific swimming areas in the first fucking place?
Was my first
Do we
thought.
need that?
Like, why are we segregating the genders at a swimming pool?
Now, I know we've covered stories in the past of swimming pools in New York, I believe, that were specific times of day were women only.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I remember that. We've talked about that before.
I know gyms do it,
right.
But I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
And I think the New York thing was a religious. It was it was a religious accommodation because men can't see women showing any skin, or they can't control themselves and fucking rape everything.
Right.
All right. Several members of the public were quoted about misgendering trans women. Margaret Roberts was quoted in print media saying that she had asked a fellow swimmer to leave because she looked, quote, looked and dressed like a male. So who's policing this thing? Is it like you policing everybody else?
So if I don't show up to the swimming pool in my stilettos with my hair curled and my lipstick red, I'm looking too much like a man,
right?
So I can't come to the
I'm not wearing a
swimming
bikini.
pool?
I'm wearing shorts and a swim shirt, and
like
now that's
what's
not
the
appropriate?
criteria for looking like a woman versus bullshit?
Are you familiar with trans exclusionary radical feminists?
I've heard this
AKA
before. Yes,
TERFs.
Yes.
Right. So these are the people who are like the bra-burning feminists of our era, who then say, "But we mean women," and they spell that like WYMYN or some shit, and it's women born women.
Right.
That's what they mean. And they have special retreats that they go on where they go camping and stuff. And only women who were born women are that's the only people who can come.
Right.
That's the only people who can play in the clubhouse. Julie Bendel, who famously wrote in a 2004 column, quote, "I don't have a problem with men disposing of their genitals, but it does not make them women, in the same way that shoving a bit of vacuum hose down your 501s does not make you a man." Julie was also quoted in this kerfuffle saying, quote, "It is totally unacceptable to allow men who identify as women, but who are otherwise male-bodied," whatever that means, "and socialized as men," come back to that in a minute, "to be in a women-only space. I have seen mothers bring their young daughters who are self-conscious about their bodies, but want to feel good about swimming and exposing their skin to the sun. The last thing they want is to look behind them and see a male-bodied person pretending to be a woman in order to gawp at them." I should have done that in a British accent. Sorry.
Hold the fucking train.
Where do you want to start?
Wait a minute. Okay, so you know what? I had a lot of self-confidence issues as a young child. Maybe if I saw a couple of trans women at the pool flaunting their bodies and being proud of who they were, I would have understood a lot sooner that what's on the outside doesn't matter.
Right. So let's come back to this. Her description here.
Yeah.
Because otherwise male-bodied, if she stops at that leaves the opening for, well, I've had surgery.
Right.
Right. So you wouldn't be able to tell anyway.
Right.
But socialized as men.
What is that even, like, seriously?
Well, this is the thing about, like, if you didn't grow up as a girl, then you don't understand. No. Listen. If you didn't, then you just don't understand what you can't possibly understand what womanhood is like. You just can't, because you didn't go to slumber parties and, talk on the phone for hours at night and all of this other stereotypical fucking bullshit. It
is. It's
put on
bullshit.
makeup with your girlfriends and like, really?
We can't fight because you're both like the same guy.
That's the gate.
Yeah.
If you're the gatekeeper, this is the gate of entry into womanhood. Really?
Wow.
You know what? We should probably not be screaming. I forgot we put the. The baby's in bed. I'm doing the show like I always do. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's okay.
So Transactual tweeted a response to this. Quote, "The ladies' pond is still preserved for women. Trans women are women. We're not sure why you're referring to trans women as men." End quote. So I ask again, do swimming pools need to be gender specific? Is there a point for that? Like, is there a reason we need to do this? Please, if I'm off here, tell me.
I mean, the only part of it that I can understand is the whole bit about having a safe place to go when you're self-conscious as a young lady. However, you know what? Adults have those self-confidence issues too.
Yeah, and so do boys.
And so do boys. And so do men. And you know what? Maybe if we weren't so stuck up about what somebody should look like,
right?
And what women are dressed too much like a man, there's where the problems start. Is you have this expectation in your head of what you're supposed to look like and act like, and from the moment you're born, it's shoved down your throat. Yep. And so it creates this super sensitive self-consciousness, and
that's being socialized as a
it's
female.
No,
that's what she means.
No.
All right.
I never heard that before in my life.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, if we have some comments in the chat, we'll get to those. We have some stories from the news on politics, and Jim Baker and Alex Jones, and
somebody run me a 5-hour energy drink.
Somebody bring me some Coke for my rum, will you? I mean, I guess I could just do shots. But all right. We'll be right back. You're listening to Sarah Talk.
Are you ready for your first card? As I look at the set I placed down for you, I see an interesting things rising. Some of it has to deal with love and money and changes, and hopefully they're going to be for the better. Now your first card represents your situation, maybe some problems you've been having, maybe a little bit about yourself. Your first card is sorrow. This card is letting us know that there is some type of disruption in your life. Not that it's a big deal, but this card is giving off a strange vibe of anxiety. Actually, this card is warm in my hand. Oh, now caller, if you listen here, I'm seeing in the cards, yes, the 45 of mangoes. The 45 of mangoes card says you're going to go on to Patreon and subscribe, because there is nothing better than giving when receiving. What will you ask me? Find out now and I see for you. Call me now for a free tarot reading.
In today's health-conscious society, you have many beverage choices. But do you know what's in all of them? So much sugar, sodium, and things you can't even pronounce. Dihydrogen monoxide. What's that? Sometimes you wish you just had a simple, more elegant solution for your beverage needs. Introducing H2O, the first ever chemical-free thirst quencher. H2O is simple, simply composed of 3 portions of 2 elements, hydrogen and oxygen. H2O means chemical-free, unlike water, which is filled with all sorts of shit. When we tested H2O, we found traces of no other elements. So pure, the bottle may as well be fucking empty, with all the same nutritional content as a breath of cool mountain air. First widely featured on Goop.com, actress Gwyneth Paltrow revealed that she exclusively uses H2O for her vaginal steaming process. After all, why use water when you can steam it with H2O? So now we invite you to run out to your local garden hose and drink that shit. Remember, it's not water, it's H2O.
H2O bottled by Flint Bottling Company in Flint, Michigan. Product not actually endorsed by Goop or Gwyneth Paltrow. Please do not use H2O for vaginal steaming, or better yet, please do not steam your vagina. H2O is actually just water. Water is a set of molecular compounds. It's a chemical. Everything is a chemical.
I was feeling so alone.
I'm glad I asked for help. Whatever it is, ask for help.
If you're thinking about suicide or need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488
7386.
Want to join the conversation or tell Sarah she's wrong? Email producer@SarahTalk.com or call 224-40-SARAH. That's 224-407-2724. Now, more Sarah Talk.
Welcome back to Sarah Talk.
Hello.
Hey, before we go on, I thought I'd do. I want to go back to that last story just for a minute. Naomi says the accent made it so much better. So then what I thought was, right, the transactional tweet should have been a very proper posh English, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ladies' pond is still preserved for women, right? And then this cunt, what's her name, Julie Bindel?
Yeah.
She should have like the sloppiest Cockney accent ever, just like super poor, like ghetto British.
Okay.
I don't do that very well, but that's what I had in my mind.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do that very well either. Where's Jake?
I know, right? Damn it. Okay. The next story. You know what? The one thing doing this thing at night may actually help us do? Stay on time. We might actually stay to an hour instead of running like 2.5 hour shows.
I was all excited actually thinking about doing it at night because in the morning, my voice is so raw from sleeping.
Right.
And by the end of the day, my voice is nice and loose and soft and it's not as raspy, but I'm still fighting the Christmas flu phlegm.
Yep.
And so I'm like, so yeah,
that's pretty
sorry.
nasty.
It is horrible. Maybe next week.
All right, the next story. This is a bit old, from back in December, early December. But since we haven't done a live show and a regular show in the last few weeks, I held on to it. Several users on social media were posting about a robocall from what appeared to be from a pro-Trump organization. Have a listen to one such of these calls.
Oh my.
Well, we've been monitoring some of your posts, and it does seem that you've been making some rather negative comments about President Trump. Is that correct? Listen, we're going to have to ask you to lay off on the negative and derogatory posts about President Trump, okay?
Like, what? Imagine your phone just rang, and this is the message you hear. We make some pretty anti-Trump posts sometimes.
Fuck you, it's my
all right, but listen,
posts.
aren't you thinking like, well, how the fuck did these people
but why are they,
get my number and why are they calling me? Okay, listen, keep going.
What's your problem anyways? Don't you want to make America great again? Okay, well, you've been warned. We'll be keeping an eye on you. Have a nice day.
Okay. Is that not creepy?
It's very creepy.
Well, it turns out that a private company called Ownage Pranks confirmed to Snopes that someone had used their service to send out these calls as a prank. The company allows users to request or send prank calls, but its terms of service prohibit using the app to call someone you haven't had personal interaction with, though I have no idea how they would ever enforce that, or know it. Spokesperson for Ownage Pranks says that anyone who receives a call from their service also gets a follow-up message that says, quote, "You've been pranked by OwnagePranks.com," and are given the option to block the company's number. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
People are freaking out getting this call. Like, well, hold the shit. They're watching me. And think about these people that are like, oh my God, the government's watching me.
The people that put a little piece of black tape on the camera on their computer because...
Yeah.
Yeah, those people.
Naomi's answer to this is fuck you and go lick his balls, dickweed.
Yes.
Amen.
Totally.
Maybe this prankster just needs a little Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
So let's get into our old pal Jim Baker here. Jim says that people hate Christianity so much that he can't even preach the gospel anymore.
Oh.
Listen.
There's people today, they have gotten their way and they have beat back all opposition. They've changed America. But the only thing they can't change is this.
Amen.
The Bible.
Wait.
You got one of those too.
I got one of these, and it's been changed. Hold on.
Yes.
Let me find the copyright date. Because they have to put it in there.
Well, what he's trying to say while you're looking.
Every time they change it.
What he's saying is that, like, the liberals have changed the, traditional conservative America so much, but they can't change the Bible.
All right. Well, this one's copyright 2013. I have one that was copyright 1983, 1993, 2003. About every 10 years, the witnesses rewrite their Bible. So I don't know about everybody else. But I know you can always go and get a King James version at the bookstore. And I'm sure if you buy a new one every year, you're going to find updates.
All right.
The warfare is against the God of heaven, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Do we need to recount the Abraham story? Is this the God that we're proud of?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. If God came and told me I had to kill my son, I'd tell him to fuck off.
I'd tell him to fuck off. Go lick
his balls. Yes, that's exactly what my response would be. Sorry.
The God whose son is Jesus Christ. I'm serious. You have no idea. I can't even talk about it because they will kill me.
You're literally talking about it right now. You're talking about it. Who's killing you?
Nobody's killing you.
Nobody's killing you.
If anything, you're getting richer by the minute. So
right? Shovel the money in.
And I don't care what you say. I know what I'm talking about.
No, disagree.
I got an email and somebody threatened me.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah,
great.
up in your little
ivory tower with
ivory tower with all of your loads of money. And
they've already threatened my life because they disagree with the Bible, and the Christians are stubborn, they think.
Did you notice he was holding it upside down and then he flipped it over?
That's an alt-right thing. I don't know. Holding things upside down. The Bible, the LGBT flag.
Right. I just wondered if it's less pure if it's upside down. Is that like a satanic thing?
I don't know.
They don't think we're faithful. They think we're too stupid to be faithful.
No, I think you're too stupid. I think you're too stupid. I think, yes. Yeah, okay, we're right.
That's close.
I think you're stupid because you're so faithful. Is that...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think we're nuts. And
Yep.
so
yeah.
we believe this. Listen to me, you don't get this yet. Some of you do. A couple in this room understand what I'm saying. The only thing they can't beat, they've won everything. They changed America.
When? What have we changed that you don't like? You can't own black people anymore? Is that one of those changes you don't like? Women can talk like outside their heads now? Is that one of those changes you don't like?
Oh, are you just sad because more and more people are starting to tell you can't discriminate against people?
That must be it.
It's good old persecution complex.
They changed the morals of America. They changed everything about America. They got control. But we just elected a president.
Okay, hold on. Before we go into the president, who has the control? My town, recall, 0 stoplights, no major fast food chains, 9 fucking churches. 9! 1,400 people in a town need 9 churches. Who's in charge? Who has the power? Jim?
I think he's getting more and more hate mail. I think that's what's going on. It has to be.
And again,
this is a very...
Again, listen, remember, he just launched another 24-hour network, so he's got more airtime to kill.
Yeah, that's true. So he's repeating himself a lot
The
more.
evangelical vote elected the president.
And we're proud of that?
Right. They know it.
That's right.
Amen. That's right. Amen.
They're trying to bring in millions of illegals. They're trying to bring in anything from all the people from other countries to build a new voting group.
Mm-hmm. There has been immigration since the beginning of America.
He is probably a descendant of an immigrant.
Probably.
This America was founded literally
by
on immigration.
Right. Well, so listen, let me tell you, before we go on, I'm about 2/3 of the way through this book that I'm reading to prep for an upcoming interview. It's called Predisposed, Liberals, Conservatives, and the Biology of Politics, that makes a case of, that our political preferences are not just born out of our environments, right? That there is a genetic and biological component to this. So it's really fucking interesting. I can't wait to talk to this guy. But anyway, that's one of the things that they look at when they determine, before you do all these studies, you have to kind of determine where people land on a conservative scale.
Right.
And that's one of the litmus tests, right? Are you afraid of the outsiders? And whether that's, I'm a Republican and I don't like brown people immigrating to my country, or whether that's you're a tribesman in the desert somewhere and there's another tribe and you're trying to decide as a group, do we kill the other tribe, or maybe they have something we need and we can trade with them, or like that whole, the dichotomy of, fear, right? And willingness to take on new things,
right,
is fundamental to the divide between liberal and conservative, right? So this is like classic conservative.
No.
Classic.
Really?
Classic. Like, but I'm saying there's, and we'll get to this when we have this interview, but that there's more to it than just this guy's nuts, right? There may actually be something biologically that drives a person to be this way.
To be able to build a new constituency.
Oh, man.
Hold on. What did he say?
I felt bad because I tripped over the word immigration.
Hang on.
To be able to build a new constituency.
Wait a minute. Is this like when Donald Trump said the United States of America?
Yes. Yeah, they're on the same drug, maybe. One more time.
Oh, God. Something wrong with you.
To be able to build a new constituency, they have to go over us. And that's why in this next elections or whatever, if every Christian gets out and votes together, if everybody could agree, God help us.
I love that she laughed at that. If everybody could agree, God help us.
Oh.
Already changed. America's being changed. And the warfare is anger. They're angry. They want to kill. They want to march. They want to burn. They want to break windows. They want to burn up cars. I think the biggest miracle is President Trump has lived almost a year as president of the United States.
That's right.
And accomplished more in 1 year than the last 20 combined.
Oh, fucking kidding me. What the hell? What? On Twitter, baby.
Yeah, right. All right, that's enough, Jim.
Oh, God.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Oh, man, my head hurts now.
Right.
Wow.
But listen, like, this persecution gospel, like, you literally are preaching the gospel and complaining that you can't preach the gospel.
Right. Like, and you're preaching it on, like, how many platforms,
right.
Jimmy? Come on.
Mega cable network that
like
broadcast
you got
out
a 24-hour
to every
channel. Like, don't complain. Don't complain that you can't. Because obviously that's a load of horse shit.
All right. Up next. And I was going to save these thinking of our patron-only special, but I don't know that we want to do Alex Jones in the end. Like, we have some new patrons. Maybe we need to re-poll.
I think we do need to update that poll because we did that poll a while ago.
It was a while ago.
So, yeah, include the new patrons in the poll because we do have a couple of new ones.
I'll be so glad when I'm over this
I know.
sickness. All right. Up next, Alex Jones, which is enough to make you want to gag.
Yeah.
Alex thinks that Star Wars The Last Jedi, which we haven't seen yet, so there's no spoiler alerts. No spoilers. The Last Jedi is state-sponsored brainwashing of the American public and full of political propaganda. Off the deep end we go.
My wife bought tickets like opening night, a week and a half ago, to Star Wars. And I just said, man, I can't look at that poor, sad Princess Leia.
You forgot her name. You can't. You're 12 seconds into your show and you
Poor,
can't.
sad Princess Leia.
God. Where's the teleprompter? Yeah. Here.
That poor, sad Princess Leia. Carrie Fisher was so eaten up near the end of her death. It's just to see a person like that on screen. I just don't want to see it. And
then don't go.
Wait a minute.
You knew she was going to be in the movie, Alex. Why did you go?
Hold on. She was eaten up by her. What did he just say?
Eaten up near the end of her death. It's just to see a person
Okay,
like
wait.
that.
Didn't she die of like some? It wasn't like they were expecting it. It was.
Listen.
It's not like she had cancer and had gone through a horrible sickness and was, I don't know. Okay, but it's freaking Carrie Fisher. She's iconic. Shut your mouth. Go on.
On screen. I just don't want to see it. And the others are so chock full of political propaganda. So I was talking to some of the crew, and Daria went and saw it. And she said it was total SJW, that Princess Leia has a girlfriend with purple hair. And again, I don't care if there's people with purple hair, but every movie, the women are the bosses, the women are the heroes. They're all lesbians. It's the same story over and over again.
What movies are you going to? I want to see these movies.
Right? I might go see this movie
Lesbian
now.
boss chicks? Fuck yeah, sign me up. What? Yeah, more women.
I don't care
should
if they have
be.
purple hair, but I don't like lesbian chicks
Right.
that are.
What a dud. Asshole.
Oh my gosh.
But he was like, in the beginning, he's like, my wife bought these tickets and we're going to go see this movie. Did he not go? I missed that part.
I don't
because
know.
Then he's like, I was talking to the staff and one of these people on the staff went.
Sound
and
like
she
he said he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go see it. So maybe he didn't go with her. I don't know. Who knows with this guy?
And it's a formula. It's state sponsored. It's brainwashing. It's like all these shows where the Russians are our enemies, and then the bad guy, because they're the resistance, fighting like an Eric Trump like character. So I haven't seen it yet. And again, Daria said, "Yeah, I talked about it on Twitter. They all attacked me." That's because that's what they do. It's a place where they can ban you, censor you, and then all gang up. But Daria, just briefly, we'll go back to Paul Watson.
Okay, well, all right. So why are you on Twitter in the first place? Like, Twitter is a cesspool of people just being assholes to each other. And we're on Twitter, but I don't Twitter much because of that.
Tweet.
No. That's just the act of posting your message. All of the other bullshit that goes along with it, I call Twittering.
Okay,
yeah, sure. I make words up all the time.
All right.
Man, there was so much there. I just
first of all, it's Star Wars has always been.
Yeah,
political.
Right. No, and that was his point in the beginning, was like that the other movies prior to this had been very political.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's the narrative of the story.
Right. I mean,
that they're telling.
So to be all like, I don't know why anybody would be surprised if the new one was.
Morgan says, I just like to report Trump's tweets.
That's awesome.
Oh my God. All right, you ready to move on?
Yeah, please.
All right, well, we're still on Alex Jones.
Oh,
Sorry.
Man.
I
don't wanna.
This clip, the media is purposely inciting violence against Trump. Now, you heard a bit of this in the earlier clip. The first 2 minutes in this, I don't think I have a whole lot to say, but so we'll at least listen to that and then we'll start in.
Sure, right now, the globalist program to block the American reboot and the attempt to simply get our sovereignty back into the United States and to get our own country under the control of the people again.
Okay, I lied. I do have stuff to say about this stuff in the beginning. How is your government not in control of the people? Right? Like, haven't we been doing this for a really long time? And I get it. I feel when your positions fall outside of the collective, you're the outlier.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it feel like you're not represented.
Right.
Look, I know how that feels.
Yeah.
I get that. I totally understand how that feels.
That has them pulling out all the stops. But every one of their operations is failing right now. So they are going to full weaponization, where every comedy show, every major TV show, every news show, every newspaper is basically saying, let's get violent, let's attack Trump supporters, let's attack Trump, let's have a civil war.
I haven't seen any of this.
No.
And I spend a lot of time on social media.
Right.
I haven't seen it. I've read some stories in the newspapers. I haven't seen that in the newspapers.
No.
No. Any idea where that's come from?
His imagination.
And they just hope they can foment enough violence, enough intimidation, and enough bullying to make the American people roll over to their demands. And it's very sad to see the very weak-minded people, even as the economy comes back and good things happen, they really believe that the American people and Trump are physically hurting them, so they're going out and physically attacking, they're bullying. Scarborough, again, the clip's coming up, has come out and said that Trump is so horrible that he's going to cause violence in America to erupt, while the former Attorney General calls for people to hit the streets to remove Trump. And while they run full-page ads in the New York Times. And we say, hey, you're fomenting all this. They go, no, we're not. You're crazy. Scarborough slams Fox News for fomenting a constitutional crisis could lead to violence because Fox News is daring to have congressmen on with the emails and the text messages and the FBI files where they met with the deputy director on how to keep Trump out of office and how to create an insurance policy, a made-up dossier to push the fake Russian narrative. We have caught them in a gigantic, arrogant, foaming at the mouth, arrogance-fueled...
Look at his face!
Rabid dog, reckless, naked, bold...
Is he just naming every adjective he can right now?
Fraud. Run by, it looks like, maybe 15 people.
Okay, you got to listen to that again, but I want you to picture that there's some, like, fucking 16-year-old kid standing on the other side of the camera with, like, a pile of cue cards going, this one, and then, fuck, which one, this one. All right? Imagine that.
In the Justice Department and the FBI. And that really makes me feel good to know that
here.
They met with the deputy director on how to keep Trump out of office and how to create an insurance policy, a made-up dossier to push the fake Russian narrative. We have caught them in a gigantic, arrogant, foaming at the mouth, arrogance-fueled, rabid dog, reckless, naked, bold, ridiculous fraud.
It sounds like the guys at, like, think of, like, turn of the century newspaper wars, and people are sitting in the office trying to figure out, like, okay, what's the raciest language we can put in a headline that will get our paper sold?
Right.
Run by, it looks like, maybe 15 people in the Justice Department and the FBI. And that really makes me feel good to know that for all the problems in our government, they tried to keep it down to like 15 people, knowing that it would leak and they'd get in trouble, which, of course, it did leak. And people are going to start covering their butts now because they don't all want to go to prison. And I don't know how the Clintons and their operatives in the FBI get away with this. I don't know how Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch or James Comey or Eric Holder. I don't see how...
You said Eric Holder twice.
Strzok gets away with this, and there's only a couple others. The Justice Department official, his wife at Fusion GPS. I don't see how they put Humpty Dumpty back together again, and that's the issue. They're now at the full-cornered hyena point, and we're moving in for the political final blow, and they're going to hit us with whatever else they got.
All right. The next part.
There's more?
If that wasn't just like mushed up brain salad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Here's where it gets fun. Look.
He repositioned
Look how he
him
stares off into the distance.
Yeah.
They're going to hit us with whatever else they got.
Here we go.
I think they're going to go ahead and make their move to kill the president. I think in the next 30 days, I think they're going to make an assassination attempt. My gut, I see all of it together. They're that desperate. They're either going to give up or they're going to activate their cells. And a lot of my smart sources agree with that.
What? Okay, listen.
Their cells?
As angry as people have been about the election of Trump, right? Let's concede that people are angry about it.
Sure.
Because they are.
Yeah, of course.
Now, are they all out inciting violence? No. But I'm here to tell you, if somebody was going to pick this guy off, I have a feeling they would have tried it already.
Yeah.
There would have already been an attempt.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Sorry.
And they've got a lot of mentally ill Democrats and people inside the Secret Service, inside other places in government.
How do you get hired into the Secret Service if you're mentally ill?
Well, how do you get elected as a president if you're mentally ill?
Oh, yeah. Never mind.
Just saying.
Whenever the Clintons and then
why does everything fucking come back to the Clintons?
It's the Clintons.
We're over that.
It's the Clintons.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
It's because the Clintons are the kings and queens of the Democratic Party.
Apparently.
I mean.
Well, and Obama, too. They love to throw Obama.
Oh, yeah, well.
But, nobody gives a shit about Hillary anymore. Nobody cares. She didn't win. Stop talking about her. Who cares?
The Obamas would go into military areas. They'd have everybody take the clips, the magazines, the ammunition out of their firearms. Trump isn't doing that. They're not taking the ammunition out. I don't think they should. And the president, if he's going to get killed, he's ready to get killed. And that's just where this is going to go next. And it's going to be like when they killed Julius Caesar. You know what happened to the plotters? I mean, they really brought down hell on them then. I don't want the president to be killed. But if they are dumb enough to actually do it, boy, they have sealed their warrant of death. I mean, they have guaranteed they are all going to probably never even see court. So.
No. Look, even if come on. We still have a system of justice.
My brain hurts just trying to.
It's just all over the place. All right.
Yeah.
So the thing about taking their ammunition out of their magazines.
Yeah, what the heck?
So apparently when the Clintons and the Obamas would go into military areas, then all of the military personnel would not be carrying loaded weapons.
Okay.
Right. Because somebody might shoot you.
Right.
Right. Well, hold on. That sounds a lot like gun control. You mean we take bullets away from the military? People who are trained to use guns? And the president shows up. Okay, now we can talk about gun control. The president's here. Fuck you.
But they're not.
Trump
They're not doing that for Trump.
Correct. They're saying that Trump is not. The bullets are not coming out.
Well.
Which, look, here's an article I read, and I wish I'd saved it for this discussion, but that basically made the case that, Trump never wanted to win. He never thought he was going to win. This was all about show for him.
Right. It was a PR stunt.
Right, and so now that he's in, he's just trying to, get out by any means necessary that's not, formally stepping down in some way.
Losing.
Right. We have to win, we win big.
So he wants.
We have all the best bigs.
So he wants out, but he's already
So
having re-election.
So this guy's talking about like, look,
campaign?
If Trump's going to get killed, maybe he wants to get shot. That's where this, I think, his crazy is going. Maybe he's trying to get shot. Who knows?
What he talks on Twitter sometimes,
right?
He's trying to get nuked. He's playing chicken with the nuclear war. He's walking into the military and not taking their ammunition away. I don't know.
They're playing chicken with people that are ready to mash down the accelerator. Because I know I'm mashing it down. I'm pointing my car right at the nose of theirs. So is Trump. That's the spirit. Just you awaken the sleeping giant, pedal to the metal. Only thing that feels good is to not turn. We're not going to turn. We're not going to back down. We're not going to give up. We're going to break your will. We are going to break your will. And if you want to press down the accelerator, want to go right into us, that means we guarantee your defeat. Because we're doing this for everybody else. We're not Satan worshipers like you.
Nobody's a Satan worshiper.
Oh
my God.
What side of this is he even on? I can't even tell.
Guy's crazy.
It's just a nutbag. Salty one at that.
Oh.
Only care about themselves.
Okay. I don't worship Satan, and I don't only care about myself, so screw you.
We're going to get you.
Oh. Well.
Fuck you then.
Right? But what he's talking about there at the end where it's like, we're not going to turn in our game of chicken, right? Pedal down, we're going to go.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to move. And when you overlay that into what's happening in our politics right now, right? We're going to fuck Obamacare, period. And you can either get on board with us or you can just get run over. We're going to fuck over the tax code. And you can either just scooch out of the way at the last minute or we're going to roll over you.
Right.
Don't say that's he's trying to say that's the left's approach. Bullshit. They're both playing this game.
Of course. Because the further and further we go along, the farther the divide is.
Here's my hope for 2018. My hope for 2018 is that we can get some sensible fucking people in the legislature to bring balance to the universe, to bring order to the
balance
empires.
to the force.
Yeah, to bring order to the empire's chaos. And in so doing, set ourselves up to elect someone who's not completely fucking loony in 2020, and then we can get back to the work of bipartisanship.
Speaking of Star Wars,
Jesus,
I just had a thought.
Okay.
In Star Wars, the bad guy always had a red lightsaber. Ooh. And the good guy always had a green lightsaber or a blue lightsaber.
That's political.
Right?
Yeah.
I just thought of that and I went, ooh.
See, the whole thing is state-sponsored propaganda. It's brainwashing. I'm telling you, the whole thing is just brainwashing. Don't take your kids to see Star Wars, folks. Brainwashing. All right, the last story I have here is from the Right Wing Watch. Where are we at on our thing here? Oh, yeah, we're doing good. Look at that. All right, this is CNS editor warns that government could manipulate self-driving cars to prevent anti-abortion protests. Yep.
What?
It's that loony. CNS News editor-in-chief Terry Jeffrey joined Family Research Council president Tony Perkins, you remember Perkins?
Oh, yeah.
On his Washington Watch show to discuss net neutrality. Somehow they got off the rails and onto this rant about the scary concept of big government.
You know, and this may seem an odd comparison, but I think it's a real one, that we're moving, Tony, towards automated cars, for example. And in the regulatory world, there's a debate over how they're going to regulate these automated vehicles. But you can imagine the control over our lives the government would have if they could remotely control our vehicles.
Why do people think that the government is watching you at all the time and controlling everything, listening to you?
when did people get so paranoid? Pot has only been legalized recreationally in like so many states. So that's the only thing that I could see that could cause such paranoia. But seriously,
right?
What the heck?
Which they may, in fact, someday be able to do. And I think we have to think about that. Well, what they're talking about with regulation of the Internet is remotely control what we can read and what we can see in our own homes, on our own computers, through a service that we pay our own money for.
No, that's what we're trying to prevent from happening. We're trying to prevent companies. You're worried about the fucking government. Don't worry about the government. Worry about this greedy motherfucking companies who are trying to just rape you dry. They want to set it up so that if you want Facebook, you have to pay extra for it. If you want Twitter, that's an upcharge. If you want to watch YouTube videos, sorry, that's an extra fee.
And
you know who's protecting you from that right now? The government.
Oh my
God. I'm thinking through this regulation of self-driving cars. I mean, what agency would you want in charge of that? Because I'm thinking like
okay, before you even start, the agency is not going to drive the cars, okay? The agency is going to provide regulations. So let's set that baseline first, right? That's what the agency is going to do.
Morgan, I wish I knew.
Oh, damn it. Now you made me fuck up.
Sorry.
Flip. Okay, what?
I said, Morgan, I wish I knew. She said, so the government won't allow your car to drive to Planned Parenthood? Is that where this is going?
Oh, sit down and wait for the ride.
We'd end up at the wrong location, and it would take us forever to get there. That whole idea of the government having more control over aspects of our lives, to me, is a frightening thought.
Ooh, scary, scary. This goes back to the biological connection.
It is frightening. Actually, the agency is the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, NHTSA, as it's called, and they started under Obama issuing regulations about what self-driving cars are going to be like. And
not Obama! No, not Obama! Obama again? Thanks, Obama. Listen, there's got to be some sort of regulations. There has to be.
Yeah.
We can argue over how strong they should be. Sure, but there has to be some sort of regulation. Here's the thing about self-driving cars, right? Do you remember playing the trolley game? It's a morality thought exercise where the train's going down the track and it's going to hit 5 people.
Right.
Or you could throw the switch and it's going to hit 1 person.
Right.
Either way, people are going to die. Do you intervene? Right? Eventually, that car's going to have to make that decision. Car's driving down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody walks out in front of it. It's going to have to decide, do I hit the person who just walked out in front of me, or do I swerve and smash into another car and kill you and the person in the other car? Like, these are things that self-driving cars are going to have to know how to do.
Right.
And, that's something people need to keep an eye out for because it doesn't get discussed a lot, but it's going to happen. Down the road, at some point, automobiles are going to be automated, and someone is going to be in control of the infrastructure that directs how those automobiles move. I mean, to give you a scenario, imagine that the government is doing something outrageous, like legalizing the killing of unborn babies.
How did we get from self-driving cars to...
Because this guy has an agenda, that's how.
Of course he does. You know what? Non-self-driving cars? They're regulated too.
Everything is regulated
Everything
except
is regulated.
for Trump's tanning salon use. Go on.
So, God, you're regulated on what the emissions coming out of your car can be, depending on what city you live in, that may be higher or lower, and you may have to take it in for inspections, like in Chicago, which we don't have to do here.
Right.
People in bigger cities have to have their vehicles inspected annually to make sure the emissions fall within the regulated range. This is something that just we do. It's part of the economy. It's part of the nature of business. Right.
The The whole way everything works.
Aaron says, Reagan gave rise to this anti-government crap. We should fear the government, but allowing corporations the power to do as they please doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. Right.
And a lot of people want to go down to the Washington Mall one day a year and make it known that they're sticking up for the right to life. But the only way they can get through to that mall is by getting on a transportation system that's controlled by the government. We know right now in the D.C. area that they're having these unbelievable tolls on I-66, which is one of the interstates, one of the few interstates leading right into Washington, D.C. from suburban Virginia. And what they've done, as you know, Tony, is put these incredible tolls on that road with the aim of trying to force people onto the public transit system, which they control. So now they're trying to control whether you can drive on the highway or get onto one of their metro trains. And eventually the automated cars are going to be put into the mix of that. And it's like the Internet and government control of the Internet. It's something people really have to look at and be dubious about.
Fear the unknown! Scary, scary things are coming! What?
This guy sounds like a dream. Oh my God.
All right, that is the end of your torture for tonight.
Wow.
This worked out pretty well, so we're going to do this a few more weeks and see how it rolls. So, 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
We'll call it 8 o'clock on Saturday. Is this Saturday night? 8 o'clock on Saturday. I don't even know what day it is. 8 o'clock on Saturday nights will be our new live show time for the next few weeks. At least we'll test it out, see how it works, and hopefully this will be the last change and we won't have to do any more. So thank you for joining us. And thank you to our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/SarahTalk. Part-time patron Russell, the Wayward Willis podcast, Josie, Harry, Heather, Jeremy, Stacy, Megan, Morgan, and AJ joined us while we were on our holiday break. So welcome AJ. Go to SarahTalk.com for links to today's topics and everything related to the show. Support the show by ordering some merch, print out a flat Jesus and play along with us, or get access to our Facebook discussion group. We'll see you next week. This is Sarah Talk.
Sarah Talk is made possible by listener support. Visit patreon.com/SarahTalk to become a patron and help keep this program going. Contact Sarah and Company by email at producer@sarahtalk.com or call 224-40-SARAH. That's 224-407-2724. And follow us on social media, facebook.com/SarahTalkRadio and on Twitter @SarahTalkRadio. Sarah Talk is a production of Sarah Austin Media.